In recent months, tension surrounding the British royal family has once again dominated headlines, with insiders suggesting that senior figures have quietly drawn firm boundaries about the future of Prince Harry and his wife, Meghan Markle. According to these reports, some of the monarchy's most influential members believe that any return to official duties involving Meghan is no longer a realistic possibility. Two prominent figures frequently mentioned in this context are Prince William and Princess Anne. Observers note that both are known for their deep commitment to preserving the stability of the institution. While their personalities and approaches differ, their priorities often converge when the long-term reputation of the crown is at stake. Princess Anne, in particular, has spent decades cultivating a reputation for discipline, discretion, and tireless public service. She rarely comments publicly on family matters, which makes any suggestion of her private involvement especially noteworthy. Royal watchers often interpret her silence as deliberate neutrality, so when sources claim she has expressed a strong opinion, it carries unusual significance. Prince William's perspective is shaped by his position as heir to the throne. His responsibilities extend beyond personal feelings. He must consider how decisions today affect the monarchy decades into the future. Supporters argue that this long-range view naturally makes him cautious about any move that could introduce uncertainty or renewed controversy. Meanwhile, King Charles III remains at the center of the situation, balancing institutional duty with personal ties to his younger son. Since ascending the throne, Charles has faced enormous pressure, including health challenges and the demands of leading a modern monarchy during a time of intense scrutiny. Those close to the palace say this balancing act is emotionally complex, not merely political. The debate intensified following Prince Harry's legal efforts concerning security arrangements in the United Kingdom. Court proceedings and appeals have kept the issue in the public eye, raising questions about how often he might return to Britain and under what conditions. While legal outcomes can affect logistics, they do not automatically resolve deeper family disagreements. For the royal household, security decisions are intertwined with protocol, cost, and precedent. Any changes can have ripple effects beyond a single individual. As a result, even a favorable legal ruling does not necessarily translate to a broader shift in family dynamics. Commentators also point out that reconciliation within highly visible families rarely follows a simple timeline. Public expectations often focus on dramatic turning points, but in reality, relationships evolve gradually, sometimes privately, sometimes not at all. In the royal context, every step is magnified by global attention. Another factor shaping perceptions is the contrast between institutional roles and independent paths. Since stepping back from official duties in 2020, Harry and Meghan have pursued careers outside royal structures, building projects in media, philanthropy, and public speaking. This independence offers freedom, but also creates distance from traditional royal responsibilities. Within the palace, continuity remains the guiding principle. Ceremonies, charitable patronages, and public appearances reinforce stability, a quality many supporters consider essential to the monarchy's legitimacy. Any potential reintegration would need to align with that framework, not disrupt it. Public opinion adds yet another layer. Attitudes toward the Sussexes vary widely across different countries and demographics. In the United Kingdom, views are often shaped by debates about tradition and national identity. In the United States, discussions may focus more on celebrity culture and personal autonomy. These differing perspectives make consensus difficult. Family dynamics, of course, cannot be reduced to polling data. Personal relationships operate on emotional timelines, not media cycles. Reconciliation may depend on trust, communication, and shared expectations, factors largely invisible to outsiders. Meanwhile, the Prince and Princess of Wales continue to emphasize stability through their public work. Their engagements typically focus on community issues, mental health initiatives, and support for young people. This consistent messaging reinforces an image of reliability that contrasts with the unpredictability of ongoing controversies. Princess Anne's long-standing dedication to charitable causes likewise underscores a service-first approach. She frequently ranks among the most active members of the royal family in terms of annual engagements. Admirers argue that her example embodies a traditional understanding of duty, steady, unspectacular, and focused on results rather than headlines. Queen Camilla, too, has become an established presence within the monarchy, championing literacy initiatives and domestic violence awareness. Her journey from controversial figure to accepted queen consort illustrates how public perception can evolve over time, a reminder that reputations within the royal sphere are rarely static. Ultimately, the current situation reflects competing visions of modern royal life. One model prioritizes hierarchy, continuity, and collective identity. The other emphasizes individual voice, personal narrative, and independence from institutional constraints. Bridging those models would require significant compromise from all sides. For now, the most visible reality is separation rather than reintegration. Occasional meetings, legal developments, or public statements may spark speculation, but they do not necessarily signal a fundamental shift. The monarchy continues its structured rhythm, while the Sussexes pursue their own trajectory abroad. Observers note that time itself can be a decisive factor. As years pass, circumstances change, children grow older, leadership transitions occur, and public priorities shift. What seems impossible at one moment may become feasible later or fade in importance altogether. In the end, the story is less about a single dispute and more about how a centuries-old institution adapts to a rapidly changing world while navigating deeply personal relationships under constant global scrutiny. Beyond questions of family reconciliation lies a broader narrative about identity, relevance, and the evolving nature of public life in the 21st century. Since relocating to California, Prince Harry and Meghan have attempted to redefine themselves not as former royals, but as independent global figures. Their ventures have spanned multiple industries. Partnerships with major streaming platforms aim to position them as content creators, telling stories aligned with their values. Podcast projects explored social issues and personal experiences. Speaking engagements highlighted topics such as mental health, leadership, and social responsibility. Success in these arenas, however, depends heavily on sustained audience engagement. Initial curiosity can generate impressive launch numbers, but long-term influence requires consistent output and a clear creative direction. In the crowded media landscape, even high-profile figures must compete for attention. Harry's Invictus Games initiative remains one of his most widely respected accomplishments. Founded to support wounded service personnel, it predates his marriage and continues to define his public image as a champion for veterans. Many observers see this as his most enduring legacy project. Meghan, meanwhile, has explored lifestyle branding, fashion collaborations, and advocacy work focused on women's empowerment. This entrepreneurial path aligns more closely with celebrity culture than with traditional royal service, highlighting the couple's shift toward a different model of public engagement. Inside the monarchy, priorities remain institutional rather than personal. The heir's role involves safeguarding continuity, preparing for future leadership, and maintaining public trust. Decisions are evaluated not only for immediate impact, but for how they will be perceived decades later. This divergence in purpose helps explain why reintegration would be complex even if personal relationships improved. The structures surrounding the monarchy are designed to minimize unpredictability, whereas modern celebrity careers often rely on reinvention and narrative control. Public fascination with the situation persists because it combines universal themes, family conflict, ambition, loyalty, with the extraordinary setting of royalty. People project their own experiences onto the story, interpreting events through personal beliefs about independence, duty, or forgiveness. At the same time, the constant media cycle can distort reality. Anonymous sources, speculative commentary, and sensational headlines create the impression of non-stop drama, even when concrete developments are limited. Distinguishing verified facts from interpretation becomes increasingly difficult. Another dimension involves generational change. Younger audiences may view monarchy through a cultural lens rather than a constitutional one, valuing authenticity and relatability over tradition. Older generations often emphasize stability and heritage. These differing expectations shape reactions to every development. Financial independence also alters the equation. Without reliance on public funding tied to official duties, Harry and Meghan have greater freedom to choose projects aligned with their interests. However, independence also means navigating market pressures without institutional support. Meanwhile, King Charles continues to emphasize themes of unity, environmental stewardship, and interfaith dialogue in his public messaging. His approach suggests a desire to modernize the monarchy while preserving its core functions. Balancing innovation with tradition has been a central challenge of his reign. For Prince William, preparation for kingship involves demonstrating competence and reliability over time. His public demeanor, measured, composed, and forward-looking, reinforces confidence in a stable succession. Personal controversies could undermine that perception, which may explain his cautious stance on sensitive issues. The future remains uncertain. Reconciliation could occur quietly, without dramatic announcements. Alternatively, distance may simply become permanent, with each side pursuing separate roles on the world stage. History shows that royal relationships often evolve in unexpected ways. What seems clear is that both paths, institutional service and independent celebrity activism, come with opportunities and constraints. Neither guarantees universal approval, and both require constant adaptation to shifting public expectations. Ultimately, the story is not just about individuals, but about how ancient institutions interact with modern culture. It raises questions about privacy, loyalty, identity, and the price of global visibility. These themes resonate far beyond palace walls. As time moves forward, the intensity of current debates may fade, replaced by new priorities and new narratives. The monarchy will continue its ceremonial and constitutional functions. Harry and Meghan will continue building lives outside that framework. Whether those parallel journeys ever converge again remains unknown. What is certain is that the world will be watching, not only for signs of conflict or reconciliation, but for clues about how tradition and independence can coexist in an era defined by constant change.